Okay, we are on my favorite kill scene out of the whole franchise. Oh, there it is right there. He just got it right in the head. The wheelchair guy, he's going down the steps right now. It's amazing. I love it. Oh, yeah. What is up, guys? That right there behind me is Friday the 13th Part 1. We're going to be doing 1, 2, and 3 today for Drumdums watches. Here we go. So we are about a fourth way into the first Friday the 13th, and one thing that I do like about these and most 80s slashers is it seems like the characters were, I guess, much more innocent back then. Even though they're not really innocent, there's something about them that comes across as innocent, whereas today's slashers, you don't really see that as much. And I guess it's just because people are different today than they were back in the 80s. They didn't have cell phones. They didn't have, you know, all the technological advances that we have today. So, and I think we reap the benefits of that from watching these movies. But I'd say the first 4 Fridays really nailed down likable characters. All of them have really likable characters. So when they die, you're actually invested. And I'll also say that as far as final girls go, again, the first 4 Friday movies, they really nail down that aspect of the final girl. Alice in the first one, she is a great final girl. She kicks ass, and spoiler alert, she chops the head off of Pamela Voorhees at the end. But we're constantly rooting for her in the end because of, throughout this whole movie, she's just a really likable person. All right, real quick, we're gonna head over to the Blu-ray shelf just so I can kind of showcase the box set. Let me bring it out here in the light so you guys can see it better. But if you don't have that box set and you're a Friday fan, shame on you. Because this is probably the last time we will ever see the complete Friday collection in one set. Much like that set right there. These are really just once in a lifetime packages, really. But I really like this set because of all the artwork. Like, every single film has its own artwork to go with the discs. Now, the big problem people have is these sleeves. They are kind of tricky to get out, but I haven't had a problem. You know, you just got to be careful. But it's really a beautiful set. See part 5 there, W.C. Voorhees. But yeah, just beautiful box set. It's out of print now, unfortunately, and you will pay upwards of $200 if you go online to try to find it. But get a good look at Levi here. Levi went to the vet yesterday. He had his shots, so he's not feeling too good today. But that's okay. Gonna power through, buddy. All right, so the first kill is coming up with Annie, and right away I was just talking about likable characters. She's only on screen for probably 15 minutes, but she just had this aura of likability about her. And she's about to get slashed in the throat, and we're going to see the first work of Tom Savini here. And Tom Savini is just a blessing. He is really a big reason why the first Friday was so successful. His kills are just so realistic. I mean, today they look a little dated, but they still look great. Complemented by the Harry Manfredini score. Another really underrated thing about Friday, the score is excellent. It's just because it's so signature, you know, no other slasher movie has a score like that. And then just to talk about camp for a bit, every kid can relate to going to camp when, you know, they're young. And I think that's just another aspect of why these movies are successful, because it's relatable. Everybody has been to a campground before, so it's just an interesting premise. It's fun. It feels like summer. These movies are great to watch in the summer, actually. Probably the best to watch in the summer. Another iconic character, the old man who is there to give them a warning. And this guy has been copied time and time again in countless slashers. I kind of credit Friday for starting this. I mean, Dr. Loomis is not really that type of character. They're similar in age, but he's more of a doctor, I guess. But this is just a crazy, senile old man. I mean, you saw it in Silent Night, Deadly Night with the grandpa. So, yeah, just to give this guy some credit, he really started a trend. All right, so I'm at the scene where Kevin Bacon and his girlfriend are about to go get it on. And I'm having a sausage, egg, and cheese tornado here. And these are really good. It's hard to believe this is one of Kevin Bacon's first movies, but actually a lot of big stars have gotten their start in horror movies. Johnny Depp, Jamie Lee Curtis. All right, we are getting close to wrapping up Friday the 13th, Part 1. And just a quick word on Pamela Voorhees. Betsy Palmer. Betsy Palmer was really great. She gave this the movie gravitas. Seems like every slasher movie, they like to get at least one big name actor to kind of sell their movie, and that's what Betsy Palmer was. And you know, she has stated publicly that she never really, I guess, cared for the franchise or respected it. She took the job so she could get a new car. But still, she gave it her all on screen. She still put a lot into the character, and I appreciate actors that do that. They might not necessarily respect the source material, but they have a job to do, and they still do the best that they can. So, rest in peace, Betsy Palmer, and I thought she was great, actually. Oh, and then there's the young Jason, right? So anyway, yeah, it's about to go down, but, oh yeah, it's about to go down right now. Okay, we're going to keep rolling here for a sec. Yeah, okay, yeah. Look what you did to him! I remember behind the scenes they were saying that when they did this scene, they had to do it over and over, and they were both pretty damn bruised up by the end of this, especially the actress that played Alice. But yeah, I love the end of this. So anyway, we're going to be moving on to part 2 here pretty soon. Stay tuned. Okay, I thought I was going to end the portion for part 1, but I can't not do it without talking about this scene. The music is just so weird. Like, it's the complete antithesis of what is to follow. And it's perfect. I love it. And it seems to go on forever. It goes on so long that eventually you forget that a scare is about to happen. You know, you think, oh, okay, maybe nothing's going to happen. They're just going to wrap this movie up, and it's going to be weird. But no, here in just a second, it's about to happen. And I love this scene. It's actually beautiful looking too. The lake in the background and the boat. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, love that. I remember when I first saw that too. I'm not gonna lie, it scared the crap out of me. Just seeing little Jason all like wet looking and seaweed all over him and everything. He looked really freaky, and his face wasn't doing him any favors. So yeah. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up our Friday part 1 portion of this special. So we're moving on to part 2. There we go. Going to get part 2 now. Yeah. Already got her sticking out there. There we go. All right, there it is. Part 2 is up now, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit play. Bam. Here we go. All right, we're into the beginning of Friday Part 2, and let's talk about Adrienne King for a sec. I know that when she was offered this, she didn't know that they were going to kill her, or at least didn't know that they were going to kill her this quick. And I'll even go as far as saying that I think when she was actually on set for the day shooting this scene, she didn't know that she was supposed to die at the end of this scene, which I find hilarious. But also, you could talk about the timeline on Friday the 13th all day too, because as you can see, she looks the same age as in the previous movie, but yet Jason in this movie was obviously like at least 10 years older than he was in the first movie. So you don't want to get into a debate about the timelines on Friday movies, because you'll lose, because they don't care. All they're out to do is just to make, slasher flicks, killing teenagers, and they don't really care about, the details. As long as at the end of the day, they have a fresh kill and a fresh pair of breasts every 10 minutes or 15 minutes, they're happy. All right, we're well into the beginning of part 2, and we see Amy Steele for the first time. And Amy Steele is considered one of the greatest final girls ever, not just in Friday the 13th. She's just an awesome final girl. What makes an awesome final girl? First off, she's kind of like Ripley in Alien. She's tough. She takes on Jason with ferocity at the end, and she's very attractive, of course. But yeah, the characters in part 2 are probably more likable than the first one. Part 2 is actually one of my favorite sequels out of the whole bunch. Part 2 and part 4. I go back and forth between those two because they just both have so much going for them. But yeah, I love this one, and I love the characters in this one. I think the characters, part 4's got the better characters as far as the most interesting, or Crispin Glover. How do you top Crispin Glover? But as far as likability goes, I think part 2 takes the cake. While we're at it, let's go look at some toys real quick. Taking into the Drumdums lair. All right, yeah, we are in the Drumdums lair right now. You can see there is the background, got the Myers. Damn, he looks cool. And there's my Batman. But yeah, I don't want to go into a whole studio tour or everything. But yeah, since we're talking about Jason, here's my my Funkos, and I got all my horror ones on the top. And this Jason right here, move this out of the way. Yeah, this Jason right here is glow in the dark, and very hard to find right now. If you go on Amazon, he's up there. He's probably like $80 to $100. So, and I just got lucky. I went to FYE, and there he was. I just so lucky. I mean, just digging in the bottom of the pile, and I found him. So, but yeah, and there is the regular Jason. So you can still find him on the market, but that guy right there gonna be a little tougher. And then we got Saw, Leatherface, Pinhead, and of course my boy, Michael Myers. And there's Negan. Alright, we're on the Kristen Baker scene. Probably considered one of the most beautiful Friday girls. But the guy who's trying to smitten her is about to get, I guess, smitten by Jason. There we go. And you'll notice the effects, while good, they're not as good as Tom Savini. And let's go ahead and do some shout outs. I'm going to go into Killer Flicks here on my computer. And I posted this morning about Free for Jason Friday. So let's go over to that. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to go to Killer Flicks and see what we got. Looks like Kevin Sullivan just asked to join Killer Flicks. Oh, he's already added. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go to discussion. Okay, guys, I'm at my Killer Flicks page right now. You can see on the cover we got Free for Jason Friday. This Friday, we're going to be doing all things Jason. I am doing my Drumdums watches, which is what I'm doing right now. And CP from Well I Like It Reviews, he's going to drop his Friday the 13th Part 4 review. But anyway, let's do the shout outs. Let's go to the comments here. First comment is from CP. He says, there isn't enough time in the day for me to share my memorabilia. And if you know CP, you know he has a lot of Friday memorabilia. So yeah, no joke there. George Hernandez says, I didn't even notice. Haha. I look forward to Friday the 13th. But yeah, it is one of those dates that sometimes you just don't know that it's coming up. I'm sure I've forgotten some. Thomas Davis, my good buddy Thomas Davis, says, my favorite serial killer of all time. I'm sure you're not alone. Mark Kimberly says he's got his machete out, it's cleaned off the old blood, been practicing my swing. Think I could take a head off or two. Probably could with that machete. And Steve Bernard, he posted a pretty gnarly picture there. Says, I've been watching parts 2 and 3 as well, playing some Mortal Kombat. Sounds fun. Lucas Ferreira says, that makes this week so special. I always look forward to Friday the 13th. And he also shares a memory. He says, one special memory I have about Jason is that I became obsessed with the concept of the franchise when I was 12 or 13. Those were the VHS days, and I went from video store to video store trying to complete the series. Of course, I didn't watch the 9 movies in the right order. Can you imagine how surprised I was when I finally saw the first movie? I remember on VHS seeing part 4 for the first time. That is one of my earliest VHS memories, and just loving the cover because it said the final chapter, so everybody thought this was going to be the last one. Next up, James Wells says Freddy vs. Jason. That's a fun one. But as you can see, I just posted a Drumdums drive talking about Free for Jason Friday. I'm excited, guys, if you can't tell. You can see the cover photo there. I got Jason on the cover photo. So yeah, if you haven't been to Killer Flicks, I highly suggest you go, because we do a lot of good horror talk and really mature folks in there, you know. We don't really welcome drama that much. We just like talking good horror. So yeah, really proud of this group. Okay, we are on my favorite kill scene out of the whole franchise. Oh, there it is right there. He just got it right in the head. The wheelchair guy, he's going down the steps right now. It's amazing. I love it. Oh, yeah. Now, we just passed the scene where Amy Steele's under the bed and the rat passed her, and I believe she pissed herself. But, oh, that's a cool scene. But it just begs the question, like, she had Jason chasing her for the past half hour, and that didn't make her piss herself. But the little rat that went by the bed, that did the trick. Okay. But they're about to go to the abandoned cabin in the woods. And this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, just because that cabin is just so creepy. And we actually have a cabin here in town that kind of looks like that. I did a video last year where I went to a drive-in movie theater. And the concession stand actually looks like that shack now. But a lot happens in that scene, too. First off, when Amy Steele lifts the machete up and cuts him on the hand, she really did cut the guy. Not as bad as you see on screen, but she really did cut the guy, and he had to go get stitches and then come back and keep shooting. Scene is coming up in a minute. She's going to slash his hand. You're going to see what I'm talking about. So Betsy Palmer did come back to do a small little scene for this movie, even though she did not want to. And pretty much vowed never to do any of these movies again. And there you go. Oh, so correction on my part. She actually didn't cut his hand in the movie, but in real life she cut his hand. I was thinking of the scene in Friday the 13th Part 4 where he gets his hand cut. So that's my bad. Okay, they're going to do the same thing they did in the last movie. They're going to do the bait and switch. They're going to get you with the cute little furry cat, and then Jason's going to come through the window. Iconic scene right there. I was wrong again. It's not a cat, it's a dog. Okay, forgive me, guys. I haven't seen this movie in too long, all right? I watch it every year. I have no excuse. But when I first saw this scene coming up, I almost crapped my pants. I mean, that scared the crap out of me. Boom! And it's a multitude of things, actually. It was the surprise, the reaction, but also the look on his face, you know, because this is the first time we saw Jason, his face, throughout the whole movie, and that just really scared me to death. Excellent directing right there by Steve Miner. Excellent. So anyway, guys, we're going to be moving on to part 3 here in a sec. And after part 3, we're going to wrap it up. And yeah. So anyway. All right, guys. Here we are, part 3. Of course, we're going to do it in 2D. So anyway, here we go. Hit play. Okay, we are into Friday the 13th part 3. And part 3's got some weird characters in it. Also, it's the only movie until the remake that is actually shot in a 2:3:5 aspect ratio, whereas all the other ones are 1:8:5, which is full screen for today's TVs. But I mean, you get all different. I mean, the characters are opposite ends of the spectrum. They cover every demographic in this movie, whereas in the first 2 movies they were all kind of similar. There's this one, you got drug heads. You got the biggest geek ever in Shelley, and then you got the popular kids. So it's a nice mix. And Shelley might be one of the most debated characters because some people hate him, some people love him. I'm not a big fan of Shelley. I don't hate him though, but I mean, he's just his story is interesting actually. The guy who played Shelley, because they found him on the street. Really, he wasn't even an actor, so they literally cast the character to type. But Shelley really acts like, I think this is why I have a problem with Shelley, because he acts like a 5-year-old in this movie. Like literally how a 5-year-old would act in this situation. That's kind of how Shelley acts. And I'm not going to divulge my sources or anything, but I have actually seen a real 3D version of this movie. I I refuse to watch the anaglyphic or glyphic, whatever it is, version. It's horrible. But I have seen a real version, and let me just say, if they ever release the real version of this on Blu-ray, it's excellent. The 3D is excellent. I've heard that, seeing this in the theater, the 3D was so great. The pop-out effect was just like, it was literally like right there in front of you. I remember going to see My Bloody Valentine 3D in the theater, and that's really what hooked me into the possibility of good 3D. Like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. I mean, literally, the shovel in My Bloody Valentine 3D was right in front of my face. And so, if done right, 3D can be really effective, but unfortunately, most of the time, it's not that effective. But for part 3 of Friday the 13th, it was. And if they ever release it, it would be awesome. This biker gang, I tell you, one of the funniest on-screen biker gangs I've ever seen. They remind me a lot of the Black Widows from Every Which Way But Loose, but not as threatening. Also, they could be in Grease, especially the one guy with the slick back hair. One thing of note about this is regarding the 3D. They spent most of the time trying to get the technology right, so they didn't really care about the acting or the script. All that really took a back seat to the technology. They wanted to get the 3D right. So, I mean, the fact that the movie turned out as good as it did is really no small feat in and of itself. It's still a very enjoyable Friday movie. It has some of the coolest kills, actually, and the 3D is nice, but unfortunately, you guys will probably never be able to see it unless they actually, release a real 3D version of it. I'm telling you, if you see the real 3D version, this movie is so fun. Like this right here. Now, in 2D, you can even see that with legit 3D, it's gonna look like his fist is gonna be in front of your face. So this whole dream sequence that Diana Kimmel's having here, it's pretty pointless. Just so you guys know, there's really no resolution or anything to it. It's just there to take up time, really. It's funny, actually. And I always kind of forget that it's there, and then I watch it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. But we're about an hour in almost, and you know what? We still haven't seen Jason in his mask yet. That just goes to show how long it takes to get Jason to put his mask on in this movie. Most people think Friday the 13th Part 3 is Jason in the mask for the whole movie. No, he's in the mask for maybe the last half hour, if that. All right, so this is the first time we actually see Jason in his mask. Yeah, he just killed Shelly, thank God, and he's about to shoot. I think her name's Pam. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I always love that kill. He definitely kicks the doors open swinging though when he gets that mask on. And Richard Brooker was one of the best Jasons, I think, in stature. He's just got that lumbering stature. It's just a cool looking Jason. Okay, I had to pause it because this scene right here is definitely one of my favorite kills. I love this kill. It's so creative. Here we go. Oh yeah, there it is. What's up, buddy? Jason just chopped a guy in half. All right, guys, we are nearing the end of this thing. This is the final act, and I'll say Friday the 13th Part 3 has one of the better third acts, or final chase scenes, and I think that's because Richard Brooker just looks scary as hell. He's a big dude. And Dana Kimmel really goes psychotic in this scene. Yeah, Richard Brooker is a beast. She didn't hit him really hard with that shovel, I don't think. All right, so she just hung Jason by the noose. She's opening the barn door now, and we're about to see Jason hanging there. Yeah. He can't be alive. Oh, look at that mug. Richard Brooker definitely had the ugliest Jason face out of all Jason faces, and that's saying something. Oh! He picked the wrong day to save somebody. Iconic scene coming up here, axe to the head. And Jason's hitting him like he's chopping wood. He's not even mad. There it is. And what's cool is, like, throughout most of the movies, they kept that axe gash in the mask for continuity's sake. I mean, there's no real good continuity throughout the series, but the one thing they do keep in continuum is the mask gash. So, yeah. But, yeah, guys, that's pretty much going to close it up here. We have finished up the Friday 1 through 3 marathon. So I hope you guys have a great Friday the 13th. And thank you. Okay, we're going to do another round of shout-outs here. I got some more comments. First from Chad Leach. He says, Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood will always be my fave. As a kid, I always thought the telekinesis element was so cool. Jason was probably thinking, what the F is this? Laugh out loud. I'm sure Jason didn't know what the hell was going on. It's like Jason versus Carrie. But Part 7 was my first Friday movie in the theater, so I always have special memories of that one. Next one is Callum Michaela. I hope I said that right. And he will be watching the final chapter. One of my favorites. Another comment from Chad Leach. He says, Adrian King was sitting just a few chairs away from Kane Hodder, so I stopped over to say hello. We chatted for about 10 minutes, and at one point we were talking about the 2009 reboot. At the time she said she just wasn't interested in watching it because her fans told her there was overuse of sex and violence compared to the original. I agree with that. I thought they tried to really shove that down your throat, and I don't think that's what they were going for in the originals. Yeah, there was sex, but it didn't feel forced, and it definitely felt forced in the remake. And Maybe Use Lang, he states, I already started, but today Part 3, so I guess Friday will be 6, 7, and 8, and the remake. And a few more shout outs. I got Thor Ivan Lorenzen, Thor Jorson. God, give me a medal for saying all that. He says, I'm in. I'll watch the final chapter and Jason X, and maybe I'll take Freddy vs. Jason with me to bed. My good buddy Brian Lomax. He's actually posting an in-depth analysis that I did with him and CP quite a few months ago, and we talked about parts 1 through 8. I'll post a link to that so you guys can check that out. And then Anthony Matson posts this painting that he has over his bed that is freaking amazing. He has the entire Blu-ray collection as well as the limited DVD collection that was numbered and came with the collectible aged hockey mask. I remember that one. I own some of the separate DVDs as well. And yeah, I am so glad I have my Blu-ray box set. I never picked up the DVD box set, and I waited for the Blu-ray one to come along. So glad I have that. One of my most prized possessions. Lucas Ferrera's watching Part 4 now. And that is the Facebook shout-outs. And we're going to do a few shout-outs for Twitter, actually. Going to Twitter right now. I posted on Twitter that if you liked my status for the Drumdums watches, I'd give you a shout out, and I have 6 shout outs. One is Derek Mayo, good Instagram friend, Theo from Theo's Movie Reviews, Chad Cherish, Darnell Major, Talk Movies with Us. They just posted their first video on YouTube, so congratulations. I'm sure that feels good. I was scared to death. And then Jay Anthony, good friend Jay Anthony. So yeah, those are my shout outs, guys. And thank you guys so much. All right, guys, that about does it for the first 3 Friday the 13th movie marathon for this Friday the 13th. I hope you guys have a great Friday the 13th. If you look right down there, you can see all my social media links. Subscribe to my channel. And if you want to support Drumdums, check out my Patreon page. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.